What's going on, guys? Alex here, back for another video. And in this video, I'm going to answer the question, assuming you're a licensed agent, if you should operate wholesaling lease options or lease options in general as an agent or as an investor. So let's get started. Now, before I begin, I'm going to give you some pros and cons coming from my own experience, because I did attempt to pursue lease options as an agent, and I'll explain why as well. And the first thing that I noticed, and this would be tip number one, is cold calling or lead generation as an agent versus as an investor are very different. When you cold call as an agent, sellers don't want to give you the time of day. And if you're an agent, you probably know where I'm coming from. Most for sale by owners don't want to hear from agents. They get bombarded with agents all the time. If you were to text them if the home's still available, the first thing they want to know is if you're an agent. And as soon as you say yes to that question, which you have to be honest, you have to admit that you're approaching them as an agent, they're not gonna give you the time of day. So right away, that eliminates a huge portion of your leads right off the bat. So that is a huge con to basically prospect as an agent versus as an investor, who's going to be the principal who's going to be buying their home, or saving them a commission because they're not dealing with an agent is a huge benefit to the seller, which I would much rather prefer to approach them as an investor or buyer than an agent. So right off the bat, that's a huge con as an agent. Second hurdle I had to overcome as an agent was getting over the commission part as far as how I'm compensated, right? So as you know, as an investor, we typically collect roughly about 2.5% of the purchase price, because the buyer comes in with 5%. We split that option deposit 50-50 with the seller, which means I earn about 2.5% on the front end, right? However, as an agent, that was really tough to negotiate, I found, because most sellers want to pay you first month's rent. That's pretty much the norm in the industry. They want to give you first month's rent for finding them the tenant, and then if they end up being a buyer, then they'll give you your 2.5% to 3% commission on the back end if they execute. So I had really difficulty trying to negotiate a 2.5% fee up front for me, which I have no problem as an investor, right? Assuming they're open to the terms. Then as an agent, they want to pay you less, and rightfully so. I mean, that's pretty much the standard, is first month's rent plus a future commission, assuming the buyer exercises their right. So you may earn much less as an agent just from that point of view. So that's another con to approach these as an agent, in my opinion. A third thing that I came across, obviously, if you're an agent, you have to split whatever commission you obtain with your broker, right? So if in these types of deals, they are pretty creative. So you could negotiate a higher split for certain types of deals with your broker. But if you're with a Keller Williams or a Coldwell Banker or a larger brokerage firm, then the likelihood of you being able to negotiate your commission, regardless of the type of transaction you're putting together, is irrelevant most times, right? So you're still going to split it 50-50, call it 60-40. You're still giving away, you're basically partnering with your broker for work that they didn't do at all. For all the work that you did up front, you're partnering with your broker, and that's a huge con, in my opinion, right? Versus if you have your own company, your own LLC, you're approaching this as an investor, you keep 100% of the profits, which is another huge benefit towards the agent side, and huge benefit towards the investor side, and a huge con towards the agent side. So by now, you probably know that my opinion is that you should operate lease options as an investor, because first of all, it's a much easier conversation to have with the owner. They'll give you the time of day when you're contacting them. You're earning more money as an investor. You're not having to split your fee with your brokerage because you're an investor. I will say this: the one positive thing about an agent, which is the reason I kind of tweaked it to be an agent from this perspective, is you do have more credibility, right? You can use your firm, your brokerage company, all the reviews and all the credibility from the brokerage as your credibility, right? So you don't have to create your own company. You don't have to create your own Facebook page. You don't have to build up your own online systems and find your own testimonials, right? You have to do all that if you're an investor. So it's a lot more work to build credibility as an investor than if you're an agent. You can just use your company to back you up for the credibility piece. So that's what caused me to want to jump in on this, so I didn't have to create my own LLC. But with those other cons that I mentioned, it just wasn't worth it at the end of the day. So I stopped operating as an agent when it came to lease options. I did get some properties under contract as an agent within lease options, but it just wasn't worth it in the end. I mean, the pay's too small, the profits are too small, and the prospecting is too difficult. So for those reasons, I recommend that you operate as an investor, even if you do have a license. So let me know. Let me know if you're an agent who's tried this, who's tried to operate as an agent to pursue lease purchase opportunities, and I want to kind of get your experience as well. See what your thoughts are. So thanks again for watching, guys. If this content's helpful for you, please subscribe to my channel. I post live calls every single week, every single Friday. So be sure to look out for those, hit the bell, and thanks for watching. Look out for the next one.